So I met Jesus while I was on LSD. And I want to explain how that happened and how it lasted well beyond my psychedelic experiments. So many of you have seen this video I put out a few days ago, Confessions of a Recovering Course in Miracles Student Teacher. And when I was 18 and I was doing A Course in Miracles, I was also experimenting with psychedelics. And I had some major interesting adventures. I would take the course with me and open it up while the book was moving and breathing, and it was quite a reading experience. But I had this major Jesus introduction. I was experiencing LSD at a Grateful Dead concert, and I was waiting online for the porta potty when I noticed that the drug was kicking in. And I was feeling a little off balance and a little overwhelmed, actually, because it really isn't such a great idea to do experimental psychedelic experiences with thousands of people. And I learned that the hard way. So I was waiting for the porta potty, and the woman in front of me turns around and she says, "Are you an angel in training?" And I smiled and said, "Yes." And she took my hands and started twirling around in a circle with me. And she said, "He's teaching us. He's teaching us all." And I didn't know who she meant, right? I was just very confused but delighted. And I was glad that I owned that I am an angel in training. What a beautiful thing to reflect on. And after I did my business, the drug was kicking in even more so. And I got enough overwhelm that I decided to leave the stadium and just exit the crowd and realized that I was having a very negative, fearful experience. And I asked for help internally. I just said, "Help." And a voice said, "I'll help." And I said, "Who is this? What is this voice?" And he said, "Yeah, I'm your guide. Folks call me Jesus. My parents called me Jeshua. I will help you along for the evening. Just hang out with me and walk with me." And my doubting mind said, "Wait a second, I'm on LSD. I'm making this up, aren't I?" And he said, "Well, yes, you are making this up. You make me up. I make you up. It's all in your imagination every moment of your time on earth." He said, "The real question is not so much, am I hallucinating this Jesus, but is this voice helpful, truly helpful? Will it help harmonize your nervous system? Will chatting with me and listening to my voice help you feel the presence of divine love?" And when he asked me those questions, I said, "Yeah," because I could feel it as a resonant memory in my nervous system of what Christ energy feels like. So the doubting Thomas left, and I had a beautiful evening talking and mostly listening to Jesus. And I asked him all kinds of questions about, when you said this in A Course in Miracles, what did you mean? And really, and it was an incredibly illuminating evening. And when I woke up the next morning, I felt his presence. And then I had much more doubt come up, like, wait a second. And I started conversing with him, and one of the first things he told me was, you have a direct connection now, and this will last and it will deepen. And you no longer need to study A Course in Miracles because you are under direct tutelage from your elder brother. Just ask me questions and I will point the way. All you have to do is ask. All you have to do is call on me. I will not force myself on you, but when you tune into my presence, I will be there. Well, that was the beginning of a very long romance, bromance, you might say. But I still had a lot of doubt. And there was a psychic in town who was very accurate with me for years. So I went to this psychic and I said, first things first, what do you see in my auric field? What do you see happening? And he said, well, first thing we see is Jesus. You're having a very profound awakening, aren't you? And something inside me relaxed and just went into a deeper sense of trust. It probably would have happened anyway, that I would have relaxed and learned to trust, but it sped the process up for me to get a little external validation. So eventually the plant medicine and the psychedelics were no longer of interest to me, and having this close, intimate friendship with my elder brother was everything. And because change happens, there came a time where he started to not be as present for me when I called on him. And I asked, what's going on? And he said, you've gotten rather attached to me as Jesus, as Jeshua, as a personality. And I'm taking a step back because it is time for you to come into your Christed presence. And he referred to how he did this with his disciples, his friends. People were getting a bit codependent on his presence and forming a special relationship with him, which is inevitable and very necessary, but eventually it needs to transform into a holy relationship. So I had been very dependent. And when he took a step back, I began to tune in more deeply to my higher self. I actually was visited by some extraterrestrial guides and angels, certain masters, and what I would just call my general guides would talk to me each day. There was always someone there on the telephone when I asked for help, until a certain point when it was just empty. And I asked my guides, what's going on? There's nothing here but silence. And my guide said, silence is your guru now. Now you have no more need for words from any teacher. Silence and the sounds of nature, stillness, and the presence of love is your teacher now. And that's where I am. No more Course in Miracles. Jesus still comes in, mostly to help other people through me. And it has been a very challenging transition because I love words. I'm a wordsmith, and I feel comforted when I'm hearing words from Spirit. So in a sense, in the silence, I'm learning to comfort myself and to be enveloped by the feminine face of Christ. And that is the beauty of nature, the stillness, the stunning stillness of a tree. The birds, when I listen to them, they seem to harmonize my frequencies, my left and right brain, and just soften the fortress of my intellect so that my heart is all that's left. This really touches me to be able to share this with you. Write in the comment section if it was helpful for you and perhaps how it was helpful. I'd love to receive feedback and start a conversation. and like and subscribe and all that nonsense. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.